fellow investors and prospective investors. My name is Divine Chamukong. I am anchoring this conversation from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Today, we are receiving on this platform one of the senior investors at AI marketing company. We have conversations which will interest you because we will be addressing some of the common questions that you ask, questions which prospective investors are likely to have. There are so many online marketing companies, but what makes AI marketing special? I'm sure that some people, perhaps you watching this broadcast, have been elsewhere and lost money. So what is it that assures you, that reassures you that investing at AI marketing is something worth doing? Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Emmanuel Roderick Foucault, who is one of the senior investors at AI Marketing. Emmanuel, thank you for coming on our platform.
Right. Thank you, Brother Divine. Thank you for having me.
My first question to you, which I think somebody who may want to join AI marketing must be having at this point is, what is AI marketing and what is it all about?
All right. Yeah, real quick. Again, thank you. Thank you for having me on the platform. And also thank you to the potential investors or existing or prospective investors who would eventually be listening to us. So a quick overview of the AI marketing company. It is a digital company that actually operates within the internet sphere and specializes in what we call e-commerce. So the AI marketing company is simply in the business of deploying worldwide advertising campaigns over the web, in order to generate revenues for several worldwide companies. So for this doing, they have built a proprietary technology which they actually use in executing their value stream and therefore generating revenues for the company, and by doing so generating profit, cashback profit for their investors and also for themselves.
Why should AI marketing be trusted as somewhere somebody should go invest money? What makes it different? And as I told you, you must have heard that some people have invested somewhere and lost money. So why should somebody trust AI marketing, Emmanuel?
I'm glad you mentioned the issue of trust. That is actually a significant discussion today on the table, because we do have several. We actually have it is almost overwhelming making the decision to pick an online company to invest with. So in terms of trust and the AI company, one of the few things that we will throw out there is the history. Okay, so it's a company that has been around for over 4 years. Actually, that started their operations at this level in 2017. So over 4 years here, and then over the course of the time they've been around, the AI marketing company, from research, and we encourage every investor to venture out there and conduct some research for themselves. What you will find is that in 4 years, the AI marketing company has actually lived up to its promise by executing their business model with the utmost integrity, but also at the same time paying their investors usually actually above what they promise. For example, within the AI company, they promise a 25 to 35% return, but several times you're actually going to find out that you could be returning up to 40 and even 50% return a month. So that alone, going, picking from the history and then looking at how they've executed over the course of time, that is an element of trust. In second position, I would mention the transparency, because I believe that this one aspect is big. Most of the companies that end up not being trustworthy, you will find out that in some ways of forms, there is an element of opacity with those companies, where you may be presented a business model, but you may never be able to be fed or to be presented with transparent details on how that business model is executed. So one of the particularities of the AI company is transparency. Transparency in terms of how value is generated, which worldwide entities are involved into the generation of that value. In this case, let's talk about AI deploying marketing for a company. Is it with Walmart, or is it with Domino Pizza? Is it with Yves Rocher, or is it with Target? Or did that happen actually with Ancestry.com, or it happened with Florida? Whatever the company is, that is the level of information you have. The day of those economic transactions happening, the time at which it does happen, then the advertised cashback amount from the provider, the size of the transaction in terms of sell, online sell that did happen, and also clarity about what the investor is making in terms of profit, and at the same time, what AI company is making in terms of profit. So there is such a granular level of transparency within the AI operation, which definitely testify another notch to the integrity of such a company.
If you've just joined this conversation, I am talking to leader Emmanuel Rodrigo Foco. He is one of the directors, senior investors at AI Marketing. My name is Divine Chamakon. Emmanuel, when you talk about AI Marketing as an advertising company, who do they advertise for? Who do they do business with?
So the AI company does business with worldwide notable brands, and over the globe. There are companies from the North American continent, as you would see, as when you start to invest with the AI company. There are companies from from the European continent. Again, here is a several companies, and I have to mention here that it is dynamic. So the AI company usually would update the portfolio of those companies that they actually deploy advertising for. So some of them, again, very notable brands that you are aware of. If we are looking here at let's say online cashback, AliExpress, which is one of the biggest, largest retailers in the world, is part of the portfolio of companies that the AI company works with. Walmart, for example, again, which is, I believe, the largest retailer in the world, also is one of the companies that the AI company does business with. And we can go on to mention great brands that have been around, I mean, for ages with human civilization. Bath and Body Works is one of them. Lenovo, which is actually a great technology company that does offer serious competition to Dell, is part of the AI portfolio of company. And Philips actually is one of them. Yves Rocher is one of them. Rentalcar.com. I mean, it is a huge inventory of companies that actually operate within several domains. So you have travel companies, you would have technology company, you can have clothing and fashion retailers, and so on and so forth. So it's here we're talking about a portfolio of thousands and thousands of companies that they work with.
For that explanation, Director Emmanuel. How does someone become an investor at AI marketing? You having explained why everybody or somebody has to be or needs to not fear, needs to be confident about investing with AI marketing companies. So, how does somebody start? Give me the ABC of how you begin to be an investor at AI marketing.
Yes, essentially the process is quite simple. And I would say number one, everybody can definitely become an investor. So that's the beauty about the decentralized world of online investing today. So how do you become an investor? Step number one, find a sponsor. So we recommend that. It's always a good thing to belong to a network. So find a sponsor and get a link to sign up from that sponsor. So once you have received a link to sign up from the sponsor, you need a few resources. And one of the resources would be, of course, access to an internet connection and a device, whether your computer or your phone. And then you just need to have an email address. So if those resources are in place, an internet connection, a device, computer or phone, an email address, and you have a link to sponsor you or create an account, then you can simply go ahead and become an investor by creating an account. So once you create an account, the system actually credit your account with a $50 certificate, assuming that your sponsor properly set it up. That's $50 is a loan, which eventually you're going to have to repay. But at that point, you're pretty much ready to start investing into the system. So that's the process. Get a sign up link. Ensure that you have an internet connection, a device. Go ahead and create an account, and from that account, you can start to invest.
When you talk about investment, one imagines money that you begin with. How much money do you begin with as an investor to become an investor at AI companies, sir?
The minimum starting investment, or let's say the minimum level of investment at the AI company, marketing company, is $10. So with as little as $10, 10 US dollar, let me specify here, we're talking about US dollar. You can place an investment, and then you can go from there. You can get started from there.
And when you start with, can you start with, if I know you say minimum $10, so it means if somebody can start with $5,000 or $2,000 or $1,000 or even 500 US dollars, that's fine. Do I
That
get you
is
correct?
absolutely
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
Okay. The profit that you make.
Yeah, minimum $10, and of course, based on your readiness, and then your desire to actually achieve profit and significant success, you can go on to invest several thousands of dollars, thousands of thousands of dollars. We've actually had investors within our network go on that big.
And so when you invest the money, how do you begin to make profit? I know that, people, when you talk about investing, of course, you don't invest to lose, you invest to make profit. So tell me, give me the steps. How do you make profit? And is the profit you make in function of how much you invested or what?
Yeah. So how do you make profit? With the AI company, you make profit simply by placing an investment, any investment. So long as you meet the $10 minimum required investment, you will go on to make profit. So how does that profit happen? We would kind of go back to the initial explanation of the value stream of the business model within the AI company. So let's start from mentioning that it is a fully passive investment opportunity. So the understanding is that your money, or the model is that your money is used by the AI company to purchase advertising presence on selected platforms on the web. Some of those platforms will be YouTube. Google is one of the platforms. Instagram is one of those platforms, or Facebook, or even Yandex. Those are some of the select platform that the AI company would use to launch advertising. But the concept of artificial intelligence, so it is a machine learning program that will be deployed over the web and actually pull links from the selected companies to execute targeted marketing, which in turn is going to generate views, clicks, and then actual purchases. And from the purchasing will come cashback that will be paid by those companies that revenues are being generated from. And the cashback that is now paid would be split and shared between you, the investor, and the AI company. So that is how you go on to make profit. So all you need to do is to place your investment. The moment your investment is placed, you're pretty much down to not doing anything besides just checking the progress of your investment and then deciding if you want to pull some profit or reinvest your profit or even go on to bring some partners. That's essentially what you do. But the system actually goes on and execute the program, generate the sales for you, and actually does the accounting and split your amount of cash back and make it eventually available into your account for use or withdrawal.
Every human being I can think of, including you, director, senior director Emmanuel, when they invest money in a company, they want to make sure they get the most out of the investment. When you invest at AI marketing, are there ways you can maximize the profit, the cash back that you are being paid? Instead
Yes.
of maybe making $10, you make $100. Is there a
Yes.
way to maximize, to get maximum profit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, under the frequently asked question page of the AI marketing company, they actually address that question. The only way you maximize your investment here is by ensuring that you invest more capital. So an investor that has placed, let's say, $100 in capital would, of course, see not only a less return on investment, but also less profit than the investor that has placed $1,000 in capital. The same goes for the investor that decided to invest an example 5,000 or 4,000 or 7,000. So the more you invest, the higher your return on investment will be as specified by the AI company. And of course, the higher your profitability is going to be. So that is how you maximize your investment, is by adding, by increasing capital. Because with the concept here, the more capital you're providing, the longer the presence that the AI company is able to purchase on those selected platforms is gonna be. And of course, the more advertising campaigns they will be able to deploy and then generate higher profit for you, the investor.
You talk about cashback. What is the percentage cashback that you, an investor, you have? Let me take an example. Let's say Divine Invest opens or starts an investment at AI marketing with $2,000. You start with $3,000. What's the percentage of cashback that I'm going to get and you are going to get? Are we going to get the same percentage?
We will more than likely not get the same percentage. However, the difference may not be as significant. The AI program is built and they promise, when you create an account, they promise a 25 to 35% return. So that is what they say that statistics, by analyzing their programs, they have demonstrated that consistently they can yield 25 to 35% profit return per month. Here again, let me specify the time duration factor. However, when you are increasing your budget and adding higher amount of budget, we have actually experimented within our network of investors that you could be generating profit sometimes as high as 50% per month. So that is the expectation. And we've had investors come back to us and say, well, I'm not making much. So usually we will go on to actually figure out what their actual return on investment is on a monthly basis. And never have we found that any investor had made less than the advertised minimum ROI, return on investment, which is 25%. time and again, we have found several investors making actually above the 35%, which is the higher threshold of what the AI company advertises. So it is when we talk to investors or to prospective investors, we usually tell them that you will see an absolute minimum of 25% ROI a month, return on investment, but you could also, in several cases, if you're getting a little bit aggressive on how much budget you add or invest into the system, you could be seen as high as 50%. But again, the AI company's program advertises 25 to 35%.
Now, when you have started an investment with AI marketing, you have something like a card, like a credit card. Anybody who lives in Europe or the United States, they know what a credit, even in Africa, now people are using credit cards in Africa. So you have a bluish green credit card. On that credit card, we're going to see your cashback right on top, and below you see pending. What's the difference between the pending you see, the amount you see as pending on the card on top, and the cashback on top? What's the difference?
Yeah, the
How am I
difference
to
is
understand it?
Yep, the difference is very simple. When you place an investment on a daily basis, the robot, which is your personal assistant and which is the concept of the value stream within the AI company, the robot would be deploying links from those companies, targeted links, and executing targeted advertising from those companies and generating sales on a daily basis in your account. When sales are made, the contractual or the advertised cashback by the provider is paid. The moment a sale has been made into your account, cashback is paid to you and, of course, to the AI company. That cashback payment is registered as money you have made, and it goes into pending status. Why does it go into pending status? Because depending on the provider, on the company, on the merchant, depending on the provider, there is going to be a time frame before they actually settle that cashback payment with the AI company. An example, Walmart is 30 days. So when the AI company generates sales for Walmart, that bill is settled after 30 days. So the profit you made from that transaction, the cashback you made from the transaction is going to be showing pending and will become available after 30 days. So on your virtual card, pending simply means profit you have made from a sale, but it is not yet settled by the provider. Then when that profit becomes available after the settlement time frame has expired, again, it varies from merchant to merchant, 30 days for Walmart, some other provider more, some less. It goes from pending to cashback. Difference between the two, when your money is in pending, you know you've made it. When it becomes available, it goes to cashback, is ready for immediate withdrawal or for reinvesting.
And we'll talk about the withdrawal and so on. Now, can you, the money that is showing as cashback, can you just, if you didn't want to withdraw it, can you just reinvest it? And what's the advantage of reinvesting the cashback that appears on top of your virtual card?
That is correct. So when cashback is realized, it is your money. It becomes your choice as an investor to either pull it out of the system, or your choice as an investor to actually reinvest. The advantage of reinvesting is what? Is simply that you are actually going into the potential business of compounding. Why do I say so? When you invest, let's say $1,000 into the system, over the course of 60 to 90 days, your $1,000, assuming you're yielding 50% profit, or if you even yield 35%, over the course of 60 days, you will have yielded $1,700. So let's assume that a little bit of time, 2 more weeks, which gets you to the 75 days mark for all that cash back to become available. If you decide to reinvest, what is happening over there? You're actually entering into the practice and the habit of compounding. And we know the power of what is called the compound interest investing. You invested 1,000, you made a profit of 735% each month over the course of 2 months. Now you are taking your principal plus your profit and you are reinvesting the two. By doing so, you're compounding. And when you compound based on the law of the rule of compounding, you have the capability to generate exponential profit in this case. And yes, for several reasons, you can either decide, you can also decide not to compound, but instead to withdraw your profit. Some investors will decide to do both. They will withdraw a certain amount and reinvest a certain amount, which is a hybrid strategy, which also works pretty good.
You are watching a conversation with Senior Director and Investor at AI Marketing, Mr. Emmanuel Rodrigo Foco. And I'm asking him some of the basic questions, common questions, which, investors who are already in the business regularly ask, and questions which would benefit those who want to join the business. Emmanuel, when you look at the back office of AI marketing, you see visitors, you see sales, you see advertising budget, you see amount spent, profit, and cashback. Let me ask you the first question. Profit, like for example, I'm looking at mine, profit 47% or 47%. Sometimes it's 80 something percent. What determines the percentage of profit? I assume the profit I am making from my investment.
So yes, you mentioned a few key statistics over there, like views,
Yes.
clicks. I believe you also see the clicks. Again, let us go back to the model. The model is that it's based on artificial intelligence. When you log into your Facebook account, you do see some feed of advertising, which usually are relevant to you. That is targeted advertising. That is what the AI company does. In some cases, you simply scroll through. That's a view. In some cases, you might actually get interested and click on. That's a click. And in other cases, you have viewed, you click, and you go on to actually purchase, to make a sell. So that is what is tracked as key performance, as some of the key performance indicators on your AI system. So then you go on to have the advertising budget. So on your dashboard, what you see as advertising budget is simply an accumulated amount, which is just showing you what you have actually placed in as investment over time. From there, you also go on to see the amount spent. The amount spent is simply out of what you have cumulatively invested, how much of that has been used by your robot, by the system, to purchase advertising space and deploy all the campaigns to make you the money that you're making. And then you also go on now to see cashback. The cashback amount is your profit. It is simply, you invested X amount. This much has been used out of what you invested to produce this much cashback, which is this much profit. And then you have the profit percentage. The profit percentage here, which is simply a measure of how much cashback you have made divided by the amount that has been used. So how much money out of the budget you invested has the system utilized, has your robot utilized to generate profit or cashback? Then of the cashback you've made, what percentage of the amount that has been spent by your robot does that cashback represent? Remember though, that when the system builds your profit versus amount spent, when it reaches the level of 100%, it resets down to 0%, and then start to build from there. So the back office, the statistics dashboard of the AI company would not be reporting 101%, 110, and so on and so forth. It would track that to 100%, then it's going to reset and then restart from zero, track it up to 100%, and so on and so forth. That's why sometimes you log in and see 24%, even though it might show that your cashback compared to what you've invested actually doesn't fit the 24%. That simply means that you have already probably hit 100%, and then a reset has happened.
Are there times the robot stops working?
Yes. When your robot runs out of advertising budget, it would go offline. That is the main reason.
How do you know the robot has stopped working
Simply by looking
or is
at your
working?
Yeah, so you know your robot is at work by looking at your dashboard. It would show at work. When it goes off work, if you look at your dashboard, you're gonna see that your robot is off work. How do you actually know if that is about to happen or where you stand with that? Is by simply comparing your advertising budget to the amount spent. When those two equal, your robot disconnects and goes offline. So as an investor, you want to be maintaining your profit, your daily profit, to an acceptable level. And the best way to do that is to be making sure that you are adding budget and then creating a gap between the amount that is being spent and the amount of the budget that is available. The wider that gap, budget versus amount spent, the higher your profit is going to be, your daily cashback will be.
Oh, I like
And
that.
then,
Repeat that again, please. I like that.
yes, so the higher the gap between your advertising budget and the amount spent is, the greater your daily cashback is going to be. And then it's going to be less likely for your robot to get anywhere close from disconnecting, from going offline. Again, the concept here is what? The robot is your personal assistant. If you have a personal assistant that is making money for you when you go on about your business, or when you choose to just get a break from life and from any other thing, or you choose to be on vacation, or you might be actually doing other businesses, why will you not make sure that that robot usually has enough, more than enough capital to continue to work, even if you could spend days without having to go back to your computer or to your account to top up your budget?
That's a key point. You see, Emmanuel, now I can understand why you're one of the senior directors, VIP directors at AI marketing. I mean, your depth of this, your depth of knowledge is it's stunning. And I appreciate that you are giving people the ABCs of how you put money, but also how you put money and make more money. That's the purpose of every investment. You put money, I want to make more money. How do you track the money that you make daily? Is it possible to follow your investment to know how much it's coming into your account or you are making?
Yes, it is actually a great practice to do so. The AI company does a good job at actually, again, what I call the granularity in the data. So the AI company would provide you with information about what is happening to the granular level. Again, remember, it will tell you that the ad we have fed out there from from the proportional share of what you have invested from your account. This is how many views it has triggered out there. This is how many clicks that has triggered out there. This is how many sales. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 50 sales it has triggered out there? It would even show you the amount, the total amount of sales it has generated for a given day. And then it's also going to show you the cashback profit. So in your AI account, when you click on your, when you go on your menu, and on the menu you click on statistics, stats, under your statistical metrics, you would see a table. That table would outline day by day how much in sales were generated from your robot, from your account, and how much cashback you have made. Remember, cashback and profit mean the same thing. So at the AI company, you simply visit your account, click on stats, look on the corresponding day. Every day, it is going to list to you to the cents how much profit you have made. That is a good point for you to start to track if you're meeting your goals. Is your goal to make $10 a day or $100 a day? What about $500 a day? Or what about $900 a day?
And I'm going to ask you a question just to repeat that. I know you've said that, but people get very attentive when you say, is your goal to make $10 a day or $500 a day? Director Emmanuel, I want to make $500 a day. I just take that as an example. Instead of making $2 a day, what do I do? I want you to repeat that information.
Yes. You pay attention to when you log into your account, click on statistics, stats on the menu. Pay attention to the amount of cashback you've earned the previous days. Increase your budget and give it a few more days to see the impact. At the same time, if you click on still in your menu, if you click on my advertising, you will see a graph which actually tracks the progression, or let's say in some cases the regression, or maybe the flatness of your daily cashback. And from that graph, you can have enough indication to start now to act, to take some actions to make a change. Let me explain. When you look at the graph, you will either see if over the course of the days, it has a tendency to be trending flat. Again, no 2 days are going to be exactly the same. You're going to see a little bit more, a little bit less some days, but by looking at the graph, you can tell where the trend is going. Is it a flat trend or is it a declining trend? Again, remember, if your budget is kind of staying constant, that means the robot is spending some, you're adding just a little bit. It spends, you add a little bit, you're going to have the tendency to have a flat trend. Or let's say you invested and you did not reinvest anything progressively, you will see the trend that is declining. Again, I mentioned the trend. No 2 days are going to be the same. Some day a little bit more, some days a little bit less, but what is your trend? And then in some cases, you're going to see that trend actually going up. The trend is going up simply when you're getting a little bit aggressive in feeding more capital to your system, widening the gap between amount invested and amount used. Really, if you can beat your system by adding it more capital than it is actually able to spend, you will see that your cashback trend is going to go up, and you're going to be jumping from $100 a day, let's say, to 150 and close to 210 and so on and so forth. So that is how you play that game. Just continue to add in investment to create a larger gap between the amount spent and the advertising budget, and you will be forcing your daily earning, your daily cashback into an uptrend.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for sharing that secret. Honestly, I've learned a lot today. I used to go read that and I just sat quiet. I mean, it's true, I was topping up my accounts virtually every day, but I didn't understand why I needed to do it. I just thought I needed to do it, or I should do it since I didn't need to withdraw. I didn't want to withdraw the money. I actually see that it is an advantage. I get more by investing more, you get more. Basically, that's how I can sum it up. Emmanuel, some time ago, the robot did not work. What happened? I think it was about a month and a half that people were not making money. Will you explain? Because that will lead me to another question.
Yeah, that was at exactly 5 weeks. So the AI companies did suffer a type of attack that most modern companies are actually either becoming victim of or have been victim of, which is referred to as cyber attack. Again, I'm not a cybersecurity expert, but what was reported by the AI company was that some cyber criminals attempted to access their system. And as they couldn't do that, they decided to take the low road by actually going and blacklisting the AI company as being involved into some level of dangerous business to certain authorities in certain part of the world. So by doing so, the AI company's systems, bank accounts, and servers actually got frozen and seized in some cases by those authorities. So again, one of the things that we like with it was it started around July the 12th or 15th, and the AI company definitely suffered a terrible blow from that point on. But again, it was there another evidence for many investors to find out what type of company they were actually involved in investing with. As we say, as the saying goes, it is not the problem that you face, that really matter, but it is how you respond to the problem that you have faced that really matters. So over the course of 5 weeks, the AI company demonstrated tenacity, demonstrated resilience, demonstrated courage, but above all, demonstrated what they are well known for, which is transparency. And they crown all of that with solid dose of leadership, which pulled them out of that phase. And even though to this day they are still solving some negative impact and problems resulting from the crisis, they were able to put their investors first, protect the investment of many of their investors, and then get back up running stronger today.
When you look at the virtual card, you see below the card previous campaigns. And I ask you that question to lead me to this one. You see unspent, you see pending. Is the money, tell me a little bit, what about the profits that people made in the previous campaigns? Is that money lost? I mean, the campaign when you had the cyber attacks.
Yes, the money is not lost. And that's the first thing we tell many investors. Many investors say, well, since the money prior to the cyber attack is gone, and we always object right over there and tell the investor, no, that money is not gone. That money is still your money. It is important. We always want investors to understand what is truly happening. The previous campaign section of your account did not exist before the crisis. It didn't exist before August 2021. After the crisis, the AI company made a decision that was actually a very good decision, very natural decision. Let us make an assessment of the data and of the information that was in every account on the day we got attacked. Let us pull that data and save it in a parking lot so that there will never be any confusion between that and the future. That is where the previous campaign information came from. Under the previous campaign, they listed first and foremost the amount of your budget that was not spent at the time of the crisis, because that was your money invested that was never used. So they listed that information over there. Then they also listed under that previous campaign what your cashback was. That cashback line comprises two elements to it. Number one, the cashback you would have had on your green card on the day of the attack, but also the commissions, which the AI company calls the Prtn, that you had earned before all the way up till the day of that attack. They added that Prtn commission to the cashback you had on your virtual card and called it cashback. That information is located under the previous campaign. And then you would have had also a certain amount of profit cashback that was pending on the day of the attack. So the AI company then also retrieved that information and saved it on the third line, which means under the previous campaign. So on the previous campaign, three pieces of information. Number one, unspent budget, your money that wasn't used. Number two, your cashback. Cashback on your virtual card plus commissions that was earned from your network investing in you earning the commissions that the AI company pays. They added it all together. They call it cash back. Then the money you had earned on your virtual card that yet wasn't hadn't flowed into the cashback session. So that was what was pending. Be aware that today, because it's been so many weeks, what shows there today as pending is actually probably being released. But where is that money? And that's a concept we continue to stress on and insist that investors fully understand what's happening. The money you see under the previous campaign is actually money that remains frozen from AI companies' bank account to this day. They have opted to simply engage their legal team, their lawyers, to go and be fighting that case. And we know, like most litigations go, you're in for some time. You're also going to be in for some money and so on and so forth. But what the AI company has done, they said, we understand that it's going to make no sense to simply tell our investors, guess what? Our lawyers are working on it. Why don't you just wait? The AI company decided to think and know once more creatively outside of the box. So what did they do? The business model at AI company, you remember I mentioned initially, when cashback is produced, the investor makes 55%, the AI company makes 45%. That makes good business sense because you are the money partner. You are the person bringing the goal to the table. The AI company has the technology and has the leadership to deploy, but you are the person bringing the goal. So you get the lion's share. So 55% of what comes in, what is generated from deploying the program is made by the investor, and the AI company gets 45%. One of the things that we have actually learned and we appreciate and applaud the AI company for, even before this crisis, the AI company wasn't in the business of eating their seed and eating their bread. So what they were doing, they were eating the bread and sowing the seed. What am I trying to say here? When the AI company got their share of the cashback, the 45%, they use 25% of that 40 of that to run their company with. Here we're talking salary, expenses, technology, research and development, and so on and so forth. Then they use the other 20% in investing into what they call a protect fund, which is some sort of what the real estate business world would call escrow, which is almost like what you can call a safety fund or an insurance fund where you're actually going to save money waiting for the rainy days, because in business the rainy days will happen. It is always just a matter of when, but it will happen. So that was the model of the AI company before the crisis. When the AI made their share of the money, they almost split it into two. Use one portion for companies to run the company and simply save the other portion. It's important to understand this model. That is the portion they call the protect fund. Following this crisis, the AI company, number one, saved all that previous campaign, that information under the previous campaign. And they stepped out there and they told their investors, we know that we owe you money. Now, we can cry all day, I'm paraphrasing them, that's what they said. We can cry all day about this should never have happened to us. You see what they did to us, but we won't. The AI company said, what we will do going forward, when you invest and earn cash back from your investment, and we earn at our own share of the cash back, we will only use the amount that we use to run our company expenses. That's half of what they earn. The other half, which is previously called the Protect Fund, we are going to pay that back to you under Protect Fund. So you can use it to start to redeem the money we owe you on the previous campaign while our lawyers are actually fighting this problem. They gave it to the investor as an option, and they said, this is the best we can do for you now. We will continue to fight this problem legally. The day we fix the problem and the freeze is lifted from our bank account, we will pay that money on the previous campaign immediately. But until then, when you invest new money, we generate cash back. You're going to make your 55%. We get our 45%. We're going to run the company expenses with 25%, but we're going to give you back the other 20%. So you use it to redeem the money that we owe you on the previous campaign. That doesn't only come from new investment, it also comes from the people, the leaders that have built a team and earned bonuses, which they are using as advertising budget. By doing so, you can also earn Protect Fund, which you can use to redeem money from your previous campaign.
Thank you for that succinct explanation. And I mean, people have been wondering, some of us who invested before the glitches, the attacks, the cyber attacks, we had been thinking that maybe the money was lost. I'm glad that, I mean, thank you for throwing light on what happened and what was done to salvage the situation and what continues to be done, that because that's very important. Let's talk about bonuses. You know, when you talk about how much I put back in my pocket, I'm very interested as an investor. That's to be expected. You mentioned the word bonuses. Are there ways that investors can earn bonuses? If yes, how?
Yes. The AI company has a very lucrative bonus program, which would actually pay bonuses incrementally from $100 to $5 million. I remember investors telling us in the early days of investing with the AI company that you guys, that is too much money to be true. I mean, you can't just be believing in that. Long story short, we have within our networks investors that have incrementally stacked 7 to 8 levels of those bonuses. And here we are talking of serious incremental addition, as you can see on the bonus table of the AI company. So how do you earn those bonuses? Number one, you have to be in the business of building a team. If you're a solo player, that's absolutely fine. If talking around you to other people, inviting them to invest at AI is not something you're interested in, absolutely, that's you will still be making money through your own investment by your robot doing the sales. But if you're a leader and you also care about seeing people change their financial situations, you could be talking to those people, and therefore you could be sponsoring them and encouraging them to invest with the AI company. When you do so, then you create now that possibility to earn bonuses. However, you need to understand, though, that the program is written a certain way and you have to execute the program in order to qualify for those bonuses. Very simple. You will need to understand that when you have sponsored partners directly using your affiliate link to invite them to invest with the AI company, those direct partners that have used your link to directly create their account, their investment is not going to qualify you towards any bonus. I remember an investor asking us, why am I at zero bonus? Well, the answer was very simple. That is because all your partners are level 1 partners. You will start to earn bonuses when you start now to develop a team that is growing beyond your level 1 partners. What do I mean by that? A partner that you sponsor that goes on to start to build other partners, from that level 2, the sum total of the capital that your partner at level 2 and beyond are investing is going to aggregate itself. The system is going to aggregate that in qualifying you for bonus. That's one of the requirements. The second requirement when you're building a team is to make sure that when you develop a group of first level partners, the AI company would show you that group in your back office at the imb.network. They will show to you who your level 1 partners are. Then the AI company will start to indicate to you which of your level 1 partners are actually building their own team. One of the requirements to maximize your bonus amount would be to make sure that of your first level partners, which is like your immediate board, from that first level partner, make sure that no one partner in that group is stronger than the sum of the rest of the partners. Let me repeat. Your first level partner, that's your immediate board. You sponsor them using your own link. When they get into the business of building their own teams, make sure that no one partner in that group is stronger than the sum of the rest. What the AI company would do when that happens, they would get the turnover from that strongest partner. They will divide it into 2. If half of that strongest partner still exceed the sum of the rest, you will not now be using the turnover of that strong guest partner in qualifying for computing your bonuses. It might sound a little bit complicated, but it is really not. So what you want to be doing is to build a team of first level partner. As they build their own team, work with them to make sure that you are providing you are providing equal support, or you're providing an equitable support to that entire group, and making sure that they are growing, they are proportionally growing together. If one partner goes on to grow so strong, you, even though they're going to come back with a great amount of turnover, the system and the calculation may not favor you in that aspect. But in a nutshell, it's just simple to remember that you will be building a team. To earn bonuses, that team needs to grow more than level 1. Starting from level 2 and beyond, all that is going to be added up, and is going to be going by milestone. When you are reached, for example, in that second level and beyond turnover, $4,096, you earn your first $100 bonus. And when it goes up incrementally, you earn those bonuses, which keeps getting stacked all the way from the $100 to 5 million. Again, please, we are talking here about bonuses, which is just one way out of several ways of earning at the AI company. Bonuses are very different from Prtn commissions, which we mentioned earlier, which is an additional income stream you earn from the activity of your partners within the AI system.
Wow, you can make a heck of money at being an investor at AI marketing. Now, I understand that when you buy things, you can also redeem some cash back if you register the receipt or something like that. Would you please throw light? Give us some very practical examples, sir.
Yeah, that's offline cashback. It's a very simple income stream within the AI company. There are 7 actually. There are 7 ways you can be making income at the AI company. The one you just mentioned, Brother Divine, and you definitely have a great understanding of the program, is what is referred to as offline cashback. Offline cashback, in this case, you are not shopping online, or no one is shopping online. This is when you actually physically visit the store. There are about, give or take, around 20 participating companies. Some of them would be BP, the gas, the oil company. Some of them would be Starbucks, the great coffee retailer. And some of those are Kentucky Fried Chicken. McDonald's is one of them. Walmart is actually one of them. Target also participating into that program. Lidl, Carrefour, Auchan, and then and a few more. So in this income stream, you simply visit the store and you make a purchase. And of course, you pay with a credit card or the debit card, either way, whatever you choose. You come back to your system, you register the card with which you've done the shopping, and it's only a one-time registration. And then every time you shop, of course, using that card, you can register up to 2. Using any of the 2, you come back to the system, you upload the receipt that you have gotten from some of those providers that I have just named here, and 1.5% of all that you have spent is paid back to you as cash. Very simple program. You shop those expenses that you were probably already doing before the AI company. I don't recommend that investors go and spend because they have to get 1.5% back. They should simply leverage those expenses that already are part of their daily living before the AI company. And then they should come back and claim that by uploading the receipt and making sure that they have saved a corresponding card or 2 corresponding cards. When they shop, make sure they use those cards, because the AI company would be verifying those receipts against those cards, checking the last 4 digits to make sure it matches before they actually qualify that it is an expense that you made, and therefore pay you the 1.5% cashback on that expense. That's how the offline cashback program works.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that great explanation. If I haven't forgotten, are there any other ways apart from the bonuses, apart from the direct investment or the receipts that you get? that bring you money? Are there other ways that other things you can take advantage of as an investor at AI marketing to make money?
Yeah, we always tell our investors in the network that there are 7 ways you could be making income at AI. The first way is what we talked about, is you invest a certain capital, an amount, you feed the system a budget, and the system does have the capability to return up to 25 to 35% return, or even more on the budget you've invested. That's the income stream number 1 at the AI company. Income stream number 2 is also quite interesting. That income stream does with the direct partners that you have sponsored into the system. Emphasis here on the word direct. Who is a direct partner? A direct partner is that partner that has used your affiliate link to create their account. That makes that partner a direct partner to you. When you do have a direct partner, every time that direct partner invests, again, emphasis here on every time, you make a 5% commission that is paid to you, 5% cashback that is paid to you and is available directly on your virtual card on the cashback. That's the second income stream. The third income stream is what we call online shopping. When you log into your AI account, if you go to the menu and click on online shopping, it takes you now to a myriad of stores of providers. Walmart is one of them. iHerb, Lenovo, Philips, Bath and Body Works, Ancestry.com, Udemy, the list just AliExpress, the list goes on and on. Those that are offering an affiliate program, which the region of the world in which, because AI is global, the region of the world in which you live does qualify for, those that are offering an affiliate program, you can pull your own affiliate link from the system by simply clicking on the merchant, activating the cashback, copying the link, and sharing it with your network. You can use the link yourself. If the network shops or you shops using the link, the advertised cashback by that provider is paid back to you in your account. That is the third income stream, which we call online cashback. The offline cashback, we just discussed it a minute ago. Very simple. You visit the store, you shop, you upload the receipt into the system. The card with which you shop has to need to be registered into the system for verification, and 1.5% of all you spend is paid back to you. That is the fourth way of making money at AI, which we call the offline cashback. Number 5 would be the Prtn commissions. Within the Prtn commission is very simple. If you got in the business of building a team, a network of investors, and yes, you can build a team, a network of thousands, hundreds of investors, all that is possible. Every time somebody within that network invests, you, the upline partner, you will be getting paid a commission, which, depending on a few variables, could range anywhere from 1 to 15%. Some of the variables would be what? Number 1, your level within the AI company. Are you a manager, a partner, a leading agent, or a director, or more? Based on the level you've achieved, you earn a certain set percentage commissions, which would, of course, affect the amount of PRTN you get. But also, what is the relationship between the investor that invested and from which you're earning the commission? What is the relationship between that investor and you? When your partner at level 1 invests, you get a higher commission than you do get when a partner at, let's say, level 3 has invested. But for the sake of simplicity now, let us just retain that within the AI company, when you are earning commissions, PRTN commissions, they will range anywhere from 15 to 1% when anybody within your network does invest. That is the income stream number 5. Number 7 is the bonus, which we just talked about. The bonus is very simple. You build in a team. Level 1 is excluded when they are qualifying you for bonus. Level 2 and beyond, the sum total of the capital that they have invested, that will be added, and it would now be used to qualify you for incremental bonuses, which go from $100 to $5 million. Then Income stream number 7 is what we call trading. From your imb.network platform, or you can simply go to ineurochange.com. Over there, you get on a platform where a token, an internal currency, cryptocurrency is traded, which is called NBO. On that exchange, even though the true value of the NBO is $1, on that exchange, actually, you can purchase that token as low as 5 cents. You can turn around and sell it on the same exchange for 8 cents, making a 60% profit. And remember though, that every time you actually swap that token with the AI company to redeem your bonuses, they are buying it back from you for $1. So you buy it for 5 cents, they purchase it back from you for $1, and they use that to redeem the budget, the bonuses that you've earned, which goes directly into topping up your advertising budget. So 7 ways you can be making income within the AI company.
Wow, I'm learning a great deal. You are a walking encyclopedia at your AI company. You've made all this money, time to probably buy a new car. Tell me, Emmanuel, everybody's not listening. Ears stretched out. How do you withdraw that money? And how quickly can you get the money in a form that you can go buy a new car or a new suit? Some of us who like suits and shoes like anything. How do you withdraw? What's the process? And how quick, how easy is it? Or is it complicated?
No, not complicated at all. You essentially withdraw in a few clicks. So in a few clicks, so you access your AI account. In order to withdraw, few requirements. Number 1, the $50 certificate that you may have received initially when you joined the company, that was a loan. Your robot would have made that $50 to earn you about 75 or 80. So either way, you are already net. You have a positive net. So you have to reimburse the 50 and you keep the net. Then your first withdrawal or your first reinvestment, because those two are really kind of the same, has to be a minimum of $100. Those are systems requirements. When you have met those requirements in the system, you can withdraw. You've reimbursed the 50, you've earned a minimum of 100. Remember, when you start at the AI company, your money that you're making will be showing as spending. Don't worry. It is not the AI company keeping your money. It is the merchant, the provider saying that, hey, look, when you make a sales for me, within 30 days, I'm going to settle your bill. That's Walmart, for example. Some is more, some is less. So when you join the system, usually after 30 days, cashback start to flow. When you have had enough cashback showing on your virtual card as cashback, you've paid the 50, you have a minimum of 100 you can withdraw. When you withdraw, there are several ways you can withdraw. You can withdraw via cryptocurrency, or you can use some of the payment system, mostly available for investors in Europe. So how do you withdraw? Access your account. You click on transfer. You enter the amount you wish to withdraw. You select the payment method. Do you want to withdraw as Bitcoin or as Ethereum or as USDT? Or do you want to withdraw through Payer or through Perfect Money? The choice really is yours. Once you have selected that, you simply, if you're using cryptocurrency, you simply bring the wallet ID in which you need that money deposited. And that wallet ID will come from an external cryptocurrency account. You paste it under payment detail and you click on pay. That's it. The system would say success, and it will tell you that withdrawal will take generally 24 hours. With the case of cryptocurrency, within 24 hours or less, usually that money is available into your account as the cryptocurrency you've selected. Again, those in Europe, for example, have the option to withdraw it to a master debit or Visa card. For investors in North America or even Africa or other continents, they don't have that option. But cryptocurrency is the universally accepted method of making a withdrawal. Very simple. Transfer, enter the amount, select the method, enter the wallet ID, click on pay. That's done.
Wow. A lot of people ask me to put this question to you. How do you withdraw the money? Because we invest, of course, we invest because we want the money maybe to build a house, to buy a car, to pay fees in the university for your children. Now, are there any taxes involved when you withdraw this money?
So we get the question of taxation always, and our recommendation to our investor is absolutely. So taxes is an obligation. It's a civil obligation. And if you're making income, you should expect to be paying some taxes. Now, because the AI company is global, the AI company is not withholding your taxes. I guess they could, but they are not doing so. However, what the AI company is doing for you, they have built and set up their system in such a way that there's no question about the amount of money you have earned, how you earned it, from where it came, when you earned it, and the day you actually withdraw it. So the system is set up for that. Let me explain. When you have pending cashback, is that pending cashback taxable? No, you haven't earned it yet. I mean, you've earned it, but you haven't received it yet. However, when you make a withdrawal, the AI company keeps track of the day, the time, the method, and all the details. So when you look at your earning reports at AI, when it's tax time, simply go into your AI account and click on transfer history. Print that statement, and it would outline day by day. Take it to your accountant or to your tax preparer. It would outline day by day how much money you withdrew from the AI system because you had earned it. And that money now, because you withdrew it, is going to be deemed classified as income that you made from an investment, and your tax preparer is going to do the rest. So the AI company will not withhold, but it is your responsibility to report the money, because the system will keep track of that for you. And then you're going to be able to accurately report it and then pay the corresponding taxes on that money.
Thank you, Director Manuel. Before we go, another question everybody would like to know: how do you start from first level investor to a senior VP director like you? I mean, hey, everybody would like to be like you. I mean, if it's not a secret, you want to share the secret? Well, I mean, how does someone become a VIP director at AI marketing?
Yeah, absolutely. So within the AI system, Mr. Divine, when you go to after you've created an account, if you click on inb.network, you use the same login. There's a section on the menu that says how to build a career within the AI company. So how do you build a career? You build a career by demonstrating some leadership, and also by simply engaging into building a team. When you build a team where you can actually explain the program to them, you can talk to them about the 7 types of income, and you can actually show them how they can profitably invest for themselves and their families. And you can also show them by also showing them how to go on to do exactly what you're doing with them by building their own teams. When you get into that type of activity, one thing happens: your network start to grow. People within the network start to invest. Leaders become mentors to other people, sponsors, and they build new teams that they're actually supporting and mentoring. For example, Brother Divine, we both belong to the same team, and then we have a forum where we actually support, mutually support our investors. So when you start to do that, get engaged into that activity, this is exactly what happens. The sum total of the capital that is invested by the people within your network is going to be, it is going to be computed by the system. And as that amount of capital grows, you also start now to grow in terms of your career level. And as your career level grows, your commissions percentage grows with. When you join the system, you are the 5% commission. Then when you work your way up, it goes from 5 to 6 to 7, 9, 12, 13, 14, and all the way up to 15%. And also, proportionally, you're growing from agent to partner, from partner to senior partner to manager to director to leading director to VIP director, and so on and so forth. So really the only requirement is what is to be engaged into the business of developing leaders and supporting those leaders to develop other leaders. When that is done, promotions would actually fall in your lap while you're busy doing that. I like it because it is the type of promotion over which you have almost all level of controls. It is different from a promotion where you have to be behind offices and playing some level of corporate politics in order to make it happen.
My first question, my last question, excuse me, to you, Emmanuel, is you sitting here to tell us that AI marketing is a business without risk? Any risk involved?
I would believe that every sort of business would need to carry some risk. However, I think the risk need to be carefully analyzed by the investor, and that risk also has to be mitigated by the investors. We have heard that question of risk a lot of time. But one of the things we always tell investors is do your research, understand what type of business the company is involved with, study the economic landscape, or talk to your sponsor. Come talk to us. We want to engage in that conversation with you. And then look at what type of risk is actually possible. Well, when a company is collecting capital to buy advertising presence and deploy marketing and has consistently done so for 4 or 5 years, gives you the transparency that is actually more granular than what you get from your bank account. So you have to be telling yourself what are some of the possible amount of risk that would be involved with such a company. So when I ask that question every time, I discover that companies come and go. That's the first reality we have to come to. Some of the oldest companies in the world, the most notable companies in the world have actually eventually folded. Some after maybe 100 years. We remember companies like Kodak, the filmmaker. We remember some other companies like maybe Swiss Watch or even in America, JC Penney. I mean, we've seen companies go bankrupt. So that alone brings some level of risk. Even when I'm creating an account to trade, whether I'm trading stocks or some other form of trading, usually I have to admit that, hey, there's a possibility of me losing everything I've invested before they even let me create an account. So risk mitigation, risk analysis, and then a plan on how to not make that risk become a diminishing or a destructive event to your investing career, to your finances, becomes the responsibility of the investor. So we are open to discuss some options with investors, how to mitigate the risk, how to manage it, so as not to become risky themselves. And that's my last point here about the question. Time and again, as an investor, we can actually be more of a risk than the investment itself. Let me explain. Let me be so I mean what I'm trying to share here. When I invest in things and yet don't spend a little bit of time to understand the investment, to execute them properly, to creatively look for ways to make it a better investment, in many cases, I too could actually be a bigger risk than the investment itself. So to answer your question, I would believe that every investment has some level of risk, but also the investor does not have to be risky. Through proper risk analysis, risk mitigation, risk management, many people, or if not everybody, could actually become a successful investor.
That you so well explained this, Emmanuel. Again, the more you say you explain this, the more I understand why you are a VIP director, leader at AI marketing. Thank you so much for spending all this time with me on the platform to explain. And I trust that we touched on practically lots of the areas where people commonly ask questions. Current investors, like those who would like to join. That's why I formulated the questions the way I did. You have a last word before we go, Emmanuel?
Yes, absolutely. So again, I would probably pick up from where I started, that the world today is filled with opportunities, and also we are, post coronavirus, which was a very destructive, pandemic in the history of mankind. I think a lot of opportunities have emerged where the World Wide Web has actually gotten just stronger and more powerful. So there are so many options today that people can actually leverage. People, regardless of their origin and background, regardless of even their educational or social status, that they can actually leverage to better themselves and to make additional income. But not only that, also opportunities that they can actually leverage to impact, to make a positive impact on other lives by pulling them from where they are and actually showing them the way. I believe that the AI company is not the only one, but also at the same time, I believe that the AI company is one that actually offers a robust program, which also comes with unquestionable level of transparency and integrity. And our desire is that anyone listening to this program, Brother Divine, that you have so skillfully masterminded and then helping produce, that anyone listening to us will actually decide to uh, get in touch through some other form of communication that would be made available, and then decide to take advantage of this great AI opportunity. Again, it is nothing you're not going to comprehend. AI marketing is engaged into an activity that you do every day, that you see around you. You see every day when you access your Facebook account, that you see every day when you search a few keywords on Google, and then you kept being fed some of the advertising. That is really what the AI company does, and what a great opportunity to take advantage of.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for the explanations you've shared. You're virtually a walking encyclopedia in AI marketing company. I realized you. I felt you very immediately. I got into a group you were in, and I realized that you were the guy to talk to answer the questions the way you've done with a lot of profundity. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm sure that current investors, like future investors, will appreciate the knowledge that you've shared today. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brother Divine, and thank you for this program, this amazing program.
We did this program because knowledge is power. It's not enough to put in your money and not know how the money works for you. I hope now you understand that AI marketing is something worth investing in. I am there. I'm happy I'm there. As you can see the glow in Manuel's face, he is also happy to be there. Thank you for watching. You can go ahead and share this broadcast. We will post it and tell you where they are. We will put them into excerpts, short excerpts, so that those of you in Africa or where you don't have so much data, you can watch over and over and over again. Thank you. My name is Divine Chamokong. I have been anchoring this show on this platform from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Thank you for watching. and goodbye.